What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and tonight I have a special guest for you, my buddy, Strongman, CAUSTIN Sutton.
Now, homie.
Welcome back to My Block's Strongest Man, where we bring strongman into the mainstream by discussing all of the latest strongman events in the greatest analytic detail that you'll find anywhere on YouTube. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel. Make sure to comment below whether you agree or disagree with my videos. I love the engagement, and I respond to every single comment. Now on to today's topic. Austin, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on the channel. I mean, the first question I have to ask you is, what's good, baby?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling. How are you? What's up with you?
You got a cool nickname, man. I really dig it.
Thanks. Yeah, it actually came about like a group chat I have with my friends on Facebook, and after that, I had a video series my company did on Facebook, and I started throwing it in there, and then I just decided to change all my social media usernames to that. I tried to find the correct spelling, but it wasn't available, so I went with WUT and then SGUDBABY. So same thing.
It's more hip, man. I like it better anyway. Yeah, I mean, speaking of social media, like, you've been helping me a lot with ideas on my own social media. Before we go into Strongman, you want to kind of talk about your quote-unquote day job and how you got involved in that at first? Yeah,
sure. So I'm the social media director at a company called Banton Media in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been working here since November of 2014. And before that, I would book local and touring bands throughout Myrtle Beach and Merle's Inlet. And that's how I kind of got like my social media promotion beginnings. And then I, started working here. I've been here ever since.
Nice. How many years have you been there?
This is going on my 7th year. It'll be in November. So just over 6 years.
Cool. I mean, I certainly appreciate all the ideas you've been giving me, man. Definitely very helpful.
Yeah, of course. Well, I came across your channel, and I really like the interviews you do and the information that you put out. So I figured I didn't want to be I don't want to overstep any boundaries. No. But I could give you a couple tips that I thought might maybe help a little bit.
No, I'm easy going that way, man. Keep them coming for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, let's start off by, for people who don't know you or haven't come across your profile on Instagram or whatnot, you want to kind of take a moment to brag about some of your accomplishments or, some goals that you've set that you've been able to reach so far, strongman-wise?
Yeah, so, well, I've competed twice. I did my first 2 novice competitions. My first one was in September with USS. It was in Pembroke, North Carolina, strongest at the stables. I got 3rd. And then I just did a Team Foundry Classic novice super heavyweight in Wilmington in January, and I got 1st. So right now I am registered to compete at Pennsylvania's Strongest Man in August. And I'll probably do another open show before, like around that time, and then I'll just take the rest of the year off from competing and just start training. Because I've only been doing the strongman thing for a little over a year. And not just strongman, but like working out in general.
Oh, wow.
I'm very much a beginner to all of this. Like, I got a lot of catching up to do. I kind of just want to get my first open comp out of the way and then focus on like boosting my numbers up,
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. So I think a lot of folks would kind of look at strongman and think, I really would like to try it, but I'm just going to go there just to come in last or maybe not be able to budge the weight at all. What would you say to somebody like that? Like, is it worth going and coming in last for the experience so you can improve over time, or is it, is it a legitimate fear?
I mean, I definitely think it's worth going. It's worth signing up for your first one, like a novice at least. Like, whenever I signed up for my first competition, there was like 2 events that I was kind of iffy about. I was like, I might come like middle of the pack around there, and I did pretty good. So I mean, even if you think you're going to zero an event at the competition, I still think you should just try to go. Figure out a program to peak for the competition, go there, have a good time. You're at first you kind of get a little nervous because it's your first competition around all these people. But whenever you're in the middle of a lift or an event, people are cheering you on that you've never even met before. So I think you kind of get those like first comp jitters out of the way really fast. But people should definitely just sign up for one and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that kind of competitor cheering for you thing is unique to strongman?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've never really been that much involved in sports before, but I went to a powerlifting competition, and it seems like strongman has more of a camaraderie, you know, like powerlifting people they cheer on their friends, but strongman seems like they're cheering on everybody. So I think that's pretty unique. Like if that didn't happen in my first competition and I bombed an event, I'd probably be pretty bummed. But like I said, people you've never met before that are in ridiculous ways of cheering you on. It's like, how can you not be fired up about that?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that I was covering the Mammoth Strain Challenge 5 very recently, and that's kind of like how I met a lot of you through that coverage. And, you know, I've talked to a lot of the competitors, both male and female, and like, for example, on the Mauser Record Breaker press, like Justin Kielhofer, Wyatt Dawson, Jamie Wilson, they're all friends with each other, and they were competing against each other.
It's awesome, man. It's crazy. Like, you think like these people would have like this it's kind of like rivalry going on. Even though they do, they're still very friendly. I see people that have kind of like that, you know, that rivalry going on in competitions that are pretty good friends on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. It's awesome. You never want to compete against somebody who is not at their best. So everybody cheers everybody on. They share advice, training tips. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say? You said you got into kind of working out very recently. Like, how did you, what was it that made that light bulb moment click? And then how did it become strongman above other possible choices?
Okay, so my uncle is a coworker of mine. And around October of 2019, he asked me if I wanted to start working out with him. Because we did like Planet Fitness stuff a couple times, but we kind of stopped going. And he asked him, so one day at work, he was like, hey, you gonna come work out with me? And I was like, nah, I don't really think so. And he was like, well, you're gonna be pretty mad whenever I can bench press more than you can. And so I was like, okay, like, all right, we'll see. So I go there, obviously he could bench press more than I could, but I started working out with him and I never stopped. And I always had people tell me that I have like the build for strongman. And obviously I knew what strongman was. I wasn't like a crazy fanatic, but I knew about it, you know, as a kid. And I just had it in the back of my mind that I always wanted to do something like that. And I just started looking up videos on YouTube and I started throwing in things in my program, found my first competition, became friends with people on social media and kind of just went from there. Like, it seems that I don't think that I know anybody, like a peer of mine that's doing something that I've done before. Like everybody that I know they come from a sport background. And I've never done that kind of thing. Like I'd never played football. Like I tried doing wrestling, but that wasn't my thing. Like I have like no background at all, except for like a weightlifting class in high school. So this is all very new to me.
Wow, that's really interesting. Another thing I was just wondering is, I mean, you got it going on. A lot of the guys got it going on. What's up with the power beard and strongman?
Well, as a kid, so my dad has a pretty gnarly beard, and as a kid, I always looked up to him, and I always wanted one. And I look like the Gerber baby if I have my beard shaved. So I mean, I've been growing it on and off ever since I was like 18. I mean, I've shaved it before, but it's kind of just my thing. I used to have long hair. Like I cut my hair last year before COVID hit, and after that, this is like the only thing I can keep on there. I'm pretty much balding at this point, so I got to rock with it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I see the pattern. Like a lot of guys have a big beard, so I was just wondering if it's you know, an intentional thing or what. So, yeah, you also talked about like kind of knowing about strongman growing up. Did you have like a guy you rooted for? Was there like, did you watch it on TV around Christmas time? And
well, as a kid, I'd see it around Christmas time and like reruns and stuff like that. But it wasn't something that I paid attention to as much. Like I knew about you know, Big Z and Marius, but I didn't know about anybody else. And because, you know, I'd be focused on spending time with my family or opening presents or whatever. But like I'd see it on TV and I was so young that I don't really remember it as much as I would like to. So yeah, I had like no knowledge of that. I just watched, this year, I just watched a lot of the old World's Strongest Man ones, competitions on YouTube, but never had anybody that I really rooted for back then. No.
If you've been watching them recently on YouTube, what is your favorite event that they used to do that they don't do anymore that you think they should bring back?
Probably the car flip. Like when they had like the car flip medley, there's like 3 cars. I think it was like the Beatles or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I'm not really that big on sumo wrestling, but that's all right. Or what was the one? I can't remember what year it was. They had like that giant globe that they were trying to push each other out of like a ring. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That is cool.
That'd be pretty fun to see. But
I like the tug of war. Tug of war was pretty
yeah, that's a good one. I've seen that I've seen people recently talk about that on some strongman groups, and maybe they're making a comeback in the competition too.
Yeah. Yeah, I have sometimes I do some collabs with another YouTuber, Hunger Smash Fitness, and we talk about this. I joke, I say, I could beat Bruce Wilhelm at tug of war right now.
Yeah.
At his current age.
I don't know, that's a strong guy.
Yeah, he was kicking some butt with tug of war back then for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So why don't we kind of rewind a little bit? Tell us something about your background, your roots, your upbringing that you think the audience might find interesting.
Never been asked that question before.
That's what I do here.
Yeah. Well, until recently, I've been in bands, and I've booked multiple concerts. Probably hundreds of concerts locally throughout the Myrtle Beach area. I did that ever since I was 15, so that's pretty cool. And then I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Like, really, I did like music stuff for a few years. I booked a lot of shows. I made a lot of friends doing that. If I was to look back at like when I was a kid, I could say that I'm the only one of my friends that I know that was raised with pigs and chickens.
Okay, chasing chickens like Rocky?
No. Like my dad he raised pigs when I was in elementary school, middle school, and a bunch of chickens. So we had to wrestle with some hogs every once in a while.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Wrestling hogs is like something Cleve Dean used to do back in the day.
I'm not too familiar with him.
Yeah, he was a strongman and also an incredible arm wrestler. So yeah, if you look him up, Cleve Dean, he used to do interviews about, he grew up on a farm and he said like one of the 600-pound hog was getting away and he had to wrestle it back in. Like that's his legendary story. Yeah.
I gotta check that out. Yeah, my dad had he had a male and a female, and they'd always have piglets. So sometimes they would escape. We'd have to chase them down. So that's pretty exhilarating. That's a good adrenaline rush.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like,
Cleve Dean guy.
What's that?
So I guess I can relate to Cleve Dean.
Yeah. Like they asked him, so you just stopped the hog dead in his tracks? He said, no, it was hard. It took a little doing, but I stopped him.
Okay. It's definitely pretty difficult, but once you do it, you feel pretty powerful, I'd say.
Yeah, Cleve Dean was like 700 pounds or something ridiculously huge, like monster of a man. So yeah, when you look him up, you'll see.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of thinking back to your childhood, was there ever a moment where you were playing outside, whatever, start lifting some weird stuff and you think now, hey, it all makes sense to me now?
Yeah, I could say. I mean, like doing like the farm work type stuff, having to do manual labor type things with my dad definitely give me that. Like I had to get pretty strong to kind of keep up with him doing things. There's never any time that I would pick up anything weird. I guess really just wrestling pigs or doing farm work is what I can compare it to. Like farmers walks when I used to have to carry feed to the pigs and chickens. I can relate to that pretty good. Or
yeah, I mean,
war, I guess, with fighting with pigs.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, what I used to do, I was an only child, so I had to come up with creative ways to have fun by myself sometimes. And I'd put my dad's car in neutral, push it up and down the driveway.
I remember doing that as a kid. My uncle and I did that in my grandma's driveway. That's pretty fun stuff.
It is, right?
You feel like you're the strongest kid ever doing that.
Yeah. Some people don't get it, but it's so fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So who was your hero growing up, and has that changed now?
Are we talking about like famous people or people that I know personally?
Anybody. The you can combine the populations together, and who was the most heroic to you out of everybody?
Strength-wise, I looked up to my dad. As a kid, I thought my dad was the strongest guy in the world. He's done construction ever since he was a teenager, and I always thought that he I've seen him do arm wrestling tournaments or whatever with his friends and lifting heavy stuff. So I always looked up to him in that regard. Famous people, I mean, everybody says Arnold Schwarzenegger, but how can you not? Right. But I was more of a fan of him. Like I knew more of him as an actor than I did as a bodybuilder, of course, when I was a child. But I've watched like his old competitions now. Yeah, I think those were the two. My dad and Arnold Schwarzenegger when it comes to strength.
Yeah, I was always like the guy who rooted for the second best guy, like I was the underdog type of.
Yeah.
So it's like, Screw Schwarzenegger. I'm rooting for Ferrigno.
You know, I was a big fan of the Incredible Hulk. My dad used to have them on VHS, and then I got them on DVD. But he was a pretty big figure in my life at that time because I was obsessed with the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
But, I don't really know of any other like classic bodybuilders at that time other than Ferrigno and Arnold.
Yeah. I mean, same for me. I was a big fan of the Incredible Hulk as well. But yeah, if I had to pick a hero, it's my dad for sure. But yeah. So you're in South Carolina, is that right?
Yeah, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
All right. So for people in other parts of the country or even other parts of the world that may be watching who aren't familiar, tell us all the best part of South Carolina culture.
South Carolina culture, I would have to say the food, honestly. Down where I'm living at in Myrtle Beach, there's a town, Myrtle, that has really good seafood they're famous for. But just like Southern food in general, you can go to any restaurant and have one heck of a time. Every family's got their own like secret recipe or twist of things. Myrtle Beach is like a beach town. Like a lot of people come here as tourists in the summertime just to see the beach. So yeah, I guess it's a nice blend of beachy season and good old fashioned Southern food.
All right, cool. What's your favorite seafood?
Seafood place would have to be the Wicked Tuna down in Myrtle's Inlet. I like their sushi. Everything's fresh caught. Pretty good stuff down there. And they have a thing called like the dragon. I think it's a dragon roll. It's like a fried avocado type thing with like stuffed with crab. Oh gosh, it's delicious.
So tell me, I mean, I'm not a big sushi eater. I've had it, but I'm not a big sushi eater. Is sushi cheating because you're not cooking it? Like if you're a chef, are you actually a real chef if you're making sushi?
Well, I mean, I think that anybody can make sushi, but these chefs do it in such a way that nobody can really, they have so much training that it's special to them, Like you and I could learn how to make sushi on some recipe that we find on Google, but them, it's like an art, Us, it's just like two guys in their kitchen making sushi rolls. For them, it's like, the recipes and, the art of it is passed down on people. They take it pretty seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that question was kind of tongue-in-cheek. I tried to make it once, and it was terrible. Yeah, so all due respect to the sushi chefs out there. Let's be clear on that. So I learned a whole bunch about you. This has been super interesting for me. You want to kind of take a few moments, we'll wrap it up, tell everybody how they can follow you, anything you'd like to kind of plug or promote, feel free.
Well, if you're in South Carolina and you want any kind of marketing or advertising, hit up Banton Media. We're in Myrtle Beach. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, my username is What's Good Baby. It's WUTSGUDBABY. I'm What's Good Baby everywhere. That's pretty much all I got left to think.
Nice. Yeah. And Caustin's been super helpful. We're in touch all the time on Instagram, Facebook. He's introduced me to a bunch of great Facebook groups. Can't thank you enough. And thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And have a nice evening, man.
Of course. Thank you so much for asking me to be on. This is awesome.
Great. All right. Well, maybe we'll catch up again after your next comp. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
All right, man. Take care. So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.